Hello everyone, today we will embark on an amazing journey. Lobster fishing off the west coast of Tasmania. This sea area is known for its diverse ecosystem and is an excellent location for hunting lobster, a favorite delicacy. Follow us as we set sail, set traps, and learn about the fishing process from expert fishermen here. If you enjoy exploring nature and want to learn more about lobster fishing, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Now, let us begin the voyage. Welcome to lobster hunting. Today we're taking a special journey off the west coast of Tasmania to discover how lobster traps work. These traps hold the key to catching fresh lobster. Let's see how many lobster we can capture today. If you enjoy our fishing-related videos, please like and subscribe. Lobster traps are an essential instrument in the seafood sector, particularly when it comes to catching lobster. These traps are typically composed of metal wire or plastic and are cylindrical or box-shaped, with several small holes for lobsters to enter but tough to escape. To entice the lobster, bait is typically placed within the trap, such as small fish or other seafood. The trap's entrance system is one of its most critical aspects. Lobsters can readily enter after smelling the bait, but the entrance is constructed to make escape difficult. The traps will remain on the seabed for several hours or overnight before being brought up, retaining the fresh lobsters within. Using lobster traps is both effective and sustainable, taking steps to conserve the maritime environment and prevent overfishing. This is how fishermen all throughout the world, including Tasmania, gather lobsters safely and efficiently. Lobster fishing on Tasmania's west coast is a significant economic driver, particularly for the local fishing population. The waters are famed for their diverse environment and cold, clear waters, which provide perfect circumstances for lobsters to thrive. Methods for lobster fishing on Tasmania's west coast. Fishermen in this area frequently employ lobster traps to catch lobsters. The traps are specifically designed to attract lobsters using scented bait, such as small fish or other delicacies. The traps are dropped to the sea floor, left overnight, and then retrieved for harvesting. Time of year. Tasmania's lobster fishing season typically runs from early November to late April each year. This is the perfect period for lobsters to attain full size, mature, and ready for harvest. Fishermen closely follow restrictions governing the size and number of lobsters that can be harvested to guarantee sustainability. Lobster fishing in Tasmania follows tight guidelines for conserving the marine environment and resources. The Tasmanian government has stringent limits about the minimum size of lobsters that can be caught and the number of traps that can be utilized by each boat. This is to protect the lobster population and allow them adequate time to reproduce and thrive. Porting technology. Fishermen employ contemporary tools, such as fish finders and GPS, to discover prospective lobster-rich areas. This improves fishing efficiency while minimizing detrimental effects on the marine ecosystem. Local economics. Lobsters are a major source of income for Tasmanian fishermen. Lobsters are shipped all over the world, particularly to high-demand countries like Asia and Europe. The expansion of the lobster industry has created employment opportunities for many locals and helped to the region's economic prosperity. Lobster fishing on Tasmania's west coast is a very profitable activity that is rigorously regulated to maintain sustainability and environmental protection. Life on lobster boats off Tasmania's west coast is a tough but unique experience. Lobster fishermen must endure extreme weather conditions and work that needs good health, patience, and teamwork. Fishermen typically begin their day early in the morning, preparing traps, bait, and equipment for the excursion. Lobster traps are placed on the seafloor in key areas where fishermen believe lobsters live. After placing the traps, the fishermen wait a few hours or overnight before collecting them to see how many lobsters were caught. Checking and harvesting the traps is strenuous work that requires muscle strength and care. Lobsters are checked for size after being captured, particularly in rough seas, and if they match the requirements, they are kept in cold storage on board until being returned to port. Tasmania's west coast is noted for its extreme weather conditions, including strong gusts and waves. Lobster fishermen frequently encounter severe seas and storms, making work on board more perilous and challenging. Long days at sea do not allow for much rest, and fishermen must work tirelessly to maintain catch progress and protect the overall safety of the boat. Living conditions on a lobster boat are frequently cramped and simple, Boats frequently feature modest beds for fishermen, as well as a kitchen and social sitting space. Life on board is fast-paced, with little time for rest. Despite their hard work, the fishermen preserve a sense of optimism and unity. They frequently exchange meals and sea stories, as well as support one another to overcome employment challenges. For many Tasmanian fishermen, lobster fishing is more than just a job. It is also a long-standing family heritage. They grew up by the water and understand the natural surroundings here. Their love for the water and fishing has become an integral part of their life. Lobster fishing also provides a steady source of revenue for fishermen. Tasmanian lobster is well known for its high quality, particularly in overseas markets such as China and Japan, which contributes to the region's economic growth. Lobster fishing is difficult, but the benefits are worthwhile for those who endure. Fishermen can bring home fresh, delectable lobsters at a great value. The sense of accomplishment that comes from completing a difficult voyage and returning with valuable products is always motivating fishermen to continue out to sea. Life on a lobster boat on Tasmania's west coast is a tough but rewarding experience, with fishermen deeply connected to the sea and the land's long-standing traditions. Tasmania's lobster fishing season typically begins in November and runs until April, when lobsters are at their largest and most valued on the market. During this period, fishermen may spend weeks or even months at sea. The fisherman's work schedule is tough, typically spanning from early dawn to late at night and requiring many shifts. On calm days, they spend much of their time setting and collecting traps. They must take a pause during rough seas or poor weather to wait for better conditions before continuing to fish. Fishermen who operate on lobster boat must have a wide range of specialized talents. This includes maneuvering the boat in rough seas, using navigational devices and lobster detectors, and demonstrating excellent trap dropping and pulling skills. Experience can assist fishermen in determining where lobsters are prevalent and how to arrange traps to maximize their catch. Experienced fishers can typically read currents, seabed topography, and water conditions, allowing them to select the best trapping places. Fishermen who operate at sea for extended periods of time face health risks, such as exhaustion from heavy work and long hours. Common complaints include muscle and joint pain, as well as a lack of sleep. Safety at sea is also a major problem. With harsh weather and strong waves, there is always the chance of an accident. Fishermen must closely adhere to safety regulations and keep first aid supplies on hand in case of an emergency. Although lobster fishing retains many traditional characteristics, technology has become increasingly crucial in assisting fishermen to enhance their efficiency. Fish finders, GPS systems, and sensors aid in precisely locating lobsters on the bottom, minimizing search time. Furthermore, modern fishing vessels are outfitted with onboard cold storage facilities to keep lobsters fresh for extended periods at sea, ensuring great quality when they return to shore. Although lobster fishing is difficult to work, fishermen can be generously compensated when their lobsters sell for a high price. Tasmanian lobsters are well known internationally for their sweet, succulent meat, and they are highly appreciated in international markets, particularly in Asian nations such as China, Japan, and Korea for fishermen, in addition to the economic benefits. The completion of a difficult expedition provides pride and a sense of accomplishment, especially when they can bring home the freshest lobster catch for their families and communities. Tasmania's lobster fishing business has grown sustainably as a result of tight catch size control, lobster harvest size limits, and conservation of lobster nesting sites. Modern technology and environmental protection measures are assisting in sustaining the lobster industry while minimizing the detrimental influence on the marine ecosystem. These restrictions ensure that Tasmanian fishermen can continue to practice their traditional vocation for future generations. Life on a lobster boat along Tasmania's west coast is a combination of struggle and opportunity. With hard effort, terrible weather, and experience, the fishermen here must not only battle the sea, but also constantly seek methods to improve in order to preserve this valuable fishing culture. On the lobster boats off Tasmania's west coast, companionship and cooperation among the fishermen are crucial factors in overcoming adversities. Working in severe environments necessitates strong cooperation among members. From operating the boat to dropping traps, pulling traps, and managing lobsters after harvesting, each member of the crew has their own responsibility and must rely on one another to ensure the safety and efficiency of the work. They must trust and support one another, especially in unforeseen situations like inclement weather or equipment failure. Although the job on the boat is extremely strenuous, the fishermen are given short breaks between shifts. While waiting for the lobster traps, they can rest in the boat's hold, relax, or eat. Some modern fishing vessels include kitchens and social living quarters where fishermen may cook and eat together. Meals on board are often simple yet nutritious in order to maintain good health for the physically demanding labor. Occasionally, fishermen entertain themselves by telling stories, discussing experiences, or fishing while waiting for traps. This helps keep a positive attitude and support one another during long sea voyages. Fishermen are separated from their families for weeks, if not months, while at sea. This is one of the most difficult mental problems, especially when they miss significant events in their loved ones' lives. For many fishermen, being in touch with their families by phone or text messages provides a fantastic source of motivation. Modern technology, such as satellite internet, has made communication easier, even when people are far apart at sea. In addition, solitude at sea and labor pressure might have an impact on fishermen's morale. However, because to the team's closeness and togetherness, they can overcome these difficulties. Climate change, changes in lobster supplies, and changing consumer markets all provide new challenges to the Tasmanian lobster industry. Warming waters and changing ecosystems have the potential to impact lobster numbers, pushing fishermen to adapt and develop new ways to conserve the resource. Conservation and sustainable management are critical to ensuring that lobster fishery continues for future generations. The Tasmanian government and environmental organizations have been working together to create rules that safeguard marine resources and ensure that fishing does not destroy lobster populations. Despite the hurdles, many fishermen are content and proud of their vocation. Lobster fishing is not only a profitable industry, but it is also an integral element of Tasmania's cultural identity and traditions. The fishermen take delight in serving the world with high-quality lobsters. Tasmanian lobsters, known for their luscious flesh and distinct flavor, have emerged as a premium seafood product in the international marketplace. Life on Tasmania's West Coast lobster boats combines challenge, collaboration, and a profound love of the craft, all of which contribute to the region's reputation. Despite terrible weather, work stress, and absence from home, Tasmanian fishermen persevere and uphold their traditions. They provide a substantial contribution to the local economy and the preservation of the area's valuable marine resources. Commercial lobster fishing is a highly profitable sector, notably along Tasmania's west coast, where high-quality lobsters are gathered and sold to international markets. To prevent overexploitation of the resource, specialized approaches and long-term management systems are required. Here's an overview of commercial lobster fishing. Lobsters are primarily collected by dropping special traps. These traps are often constructed from metal or wooden frames covered in mesh and baited inside to attract lobsters. Once the lobsters enter the trap to consume the bait, they are unable to escape. Lobster boats or commercial fishing vessels are specifically designed to accommodate many lobster traps and feature refrigerated storage to keep the lobsters fresh while at sea. They also have contemporary control devices to maximize the sight of lobster abundance, harvest, and storage. Once the traps are pulled, the fishermen will select lobsters that are large enough to keep. To protect the population's expansion, the smaller ones will be returned to the water. Lobsters will be stored in cold storage or seawater tanks after being harvested to ensure their health before being transported to shore. Capture quotas. Governments frequently use a catch quota system to limit the amount of lobsters that can be collected in a given season, ensuring that the lobster population is not depleted. Fishers must follow restrictions governing the minimum size of lobsters and locations where fishing is forbidden during the mating season. Environmental protection agencies actively oversee commercial lobster fishing. Lobsters frequently live on coral reefs and the seabed. Therefore, harvesting must not harm their habitat. International exports. Tasmanian lobsters are highly valued on the worldwide market, particularly in Asian countries like China, Japan, and Korea, where they are regarded as a luxury delicacy. Live lobsters are frequently sent directly by air to preserve freshness. Domestic demand. Lobsters are a prominent seafood commodity in Australia, as well as on the international market. Tasmanian lobsters are always in high demand among domestic restaurants and seafood enterprises due to their outstanding quality and distinct flavor. Technology application. In the commercial lobster fishing sector, technology is critical for increasing fishing efficiency and safeguarding resources. Sonar, seabed monitoring devices, and contemporary electronic tools assist fishermen in quickly locating lobster-rich locations and accurately controlling traps. Preservation techniques for keeping lobsters fresh. Many modern vessels feature excellent cooling systems. Some ships also have special seawater tanks that keep the lobsters alive for several days, ensuring the finest quality when they reach consumers. Climate change. Changes in ocean temperatures and lobster habitats due to climate change pose a significant threat to this resource. Scientists and governments are working together to explore and develop solutions to safeguard lobster populations from the negative effects of climate change. International competition. As global demand for lobsters grows, the Tasmanian lobster business confronts stiff competition from countries such as the United States, Canada, and New Zealand. This pushes Tasmanian fishermen to constantly enhance the quality of their products and their fishing practices in order to maintain market share. Commercial lobster fishing is a highly successful enterprise, but it must be managed strictly and sustainably to avoid overexploitation of the resource. Fishermen on Tasmania's west coast, using experience and cutting-edge technology, are preserving and expanding this sector, while also helping to conserve lobster populations and the marine environment.